Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making a coconut cream poke cake, or as some of you know it as an Almond Joy or Mounds cake. And for this you will need a chocolate cake mix, and you can either make your own or use a box mix. Originally the recipe I used called for devil's food. I don't know why, it's just what they used. So with a cake mix you'll need 1 cup of water, a half a cup of oil, and 3 eggs for this. So we're just going to mix it together like the directions on the box. You can use any chocolate cake mix for this that you want. So I have out already my 3 eggs. I have out oil. And I have my cup of water already here. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix up this cake mix in a bowl. And then I'm going to use a sheet cake like this. It's a 13 by 9 regular pan. You could probably do this in a round double cake if you would like to. Just poke the holes in both rounds and give it time to soak in. So here we go. Cake mix. Cut it open. 1 cup of water in the bowl. Pouring a half a cup of oil. And instead of putting the oil cup in the sink, I'm just going to set it here in my cake pan, because I'm going to use a paintbrush and paint oil along the edge of the cake pan so I don't waste that little bit in there. You could also use butter if you want to, that's fine. And then I also have a can of the cream of coconut here. It has been opened and it is hard, sort of hard right now. I used it for a nice cocktail the other night, and so I have quite a bit left over, and that's the reason I'm making this cake for this weekend. So this will come in handy a little bit later. And then for this recipe you'll also need a frosting can. I prefer vanilla. You can use whatever frosting you want to. You could use chocolate if you want double chocolate. However, with the coconut we're going to save a little bit and put it in the frosting here in a little bit. And now I'm just going to crack my eggs. So here I have the 3 eggs. I'm just going to mix them up lightly before I put them into the bowl with the cake mix. So here they are. I'm just going to pour it in. So now we have everything in the bowl, and we're just going to stir it up. You can use your mixer if you'd like to. It's just really heavy for me, and these simple cake mixes aren't as hard to mix up for me as a scratch cake mix. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it in the bowl. You just want to stir that until combined. But we just want to mix it until there is no dry and no big lumps. So now that this is beat up well, we want to go ahead with our paintbrush, and we're going to take this little bit of remainder oil and the measuring cup and just put it on our pan. And then we want to turn the oven on to 350 if you have not yet. It's a good time to do that. Here we go, we're going to pour the cake mix into the pan. Okay, so now that the oven is ready, we can go ahead and stick our cake in. And we're making a 13 by 9, so the recommended time is 34 to 38 minutes. So I'm going to use my cow timer. And I'm going to set it for about 35, and then I'll check it. Now in the meantime, you want to get your coconut, which is close to being solid. You want that to get pretty soft. So what I did is I have a small pan with water in it right here that I'm just going to put on the stove, and I'm just going to stick the whole can right in it. And I'm going to put that on warm for a while. It can stay on warm. We want it to get to be really nice, thin consistency. And then once it does get to be a thinner consistency, you want to take a fresh measuring cup and pour some into it. I know this isn't quite a full can, and a can is 15 ounces. So maybe a half a cup, 3/4 cup about, if you want to save that much aside, depending on how much or how sweet you want the cake itself, or if you'd rather leave the sweetness for the frosting. It's totally up to you. So once that gets soft, just pour some into your measuring cup. So our cake is still baking, but while that's going on, you want to get a piece of foil out and a cookie sheet and just line a cookie sheet. You don't have to do this, but it can make things a little easier in the long run. And then you take your shredded coconut. I just have coconut flakes, and I'm just going to pour them onto here. Depends on how much you like. Just want to get a thin layer all over. So that's probably about half a bag, maybe a little bit less. And you just want to move it around so it looks even. After the cake comes out and cools, we're going to turn the oven up to about 400, 375, 400, somewhere in there. And we're going to brown our coconut. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I like a little bit of crunchiness on top of the cake. And then while you're still waiting on the cake, you want to get out a container that you can easily stir in, but smaller than a big bowl. We're going to mix our cream of coconut and frosting in. So while we're waiting, I just went ahead and got another bowl. It's just a medium-sized clear bowl. And I'm going to take the white frosting. If we can open it. So I have the white frosting here, and we're going to put it into the bowl. You can also use the whipped frosting, which is very, very good on this. I had a limited budget this time, so I just got the cheap stuff. You can also make your own frosting for this as well if you have the ingredients on hand. We just want to check on our coconut over here. The top is not getting too liquidy, but it's getting softer. So I'm going to continue to leave that on low. And then we're just going to wait for our cake to get done now. We have about 20 minutes left. So we're back. There's about 5 minutes left on this cake. And our coconut is becoming liquid, which is wonderful. I'll go ahead and turn that off. It'll probably stay warm. And the can shouldn't be warm, but I'm just going to pour a little bit into my measuring cup. I'm leaving about half a can. And I poured in, I don't know if you can see that, half a can. And now I'm just going to pour this into the frosting. I'm just going to stir this together. So now instead of vanilla frosting, we will have coconut cream frosting. This does make it very, very, very sweet. But nonetheless really yummy tasting. Now it's going pretty well here. Pretty well mixed in. I'm just going to set that aside for a while. And I'm going to take out my cake here in a few minutes. And after we take this cake out, we just want to turn up the oven to 375 or 400 depending on your oven. And we are going to toast our coconut that we have set off to the side over here. And it's saying that it's already preheated to up to 400, so that's good. Whoops. And then take out the cake. Looks very good. I'm going to take a toothpick and test the center of the cake. And it comes out clean, so that's good. Now while our cake is cooling, we can go ahead and poke our holes in it. It won't hurt it any, and it may help the heat to escape out of it. So you can use, some people can use a toothpick. I prefer larger holes than that. I prefer straw holes. So if you don't have any straws lying around, you can also use the end of a wooden spoon. It's kind of around the size of a straw. You can go ahead and use a straw if you have it. Mine is plastic, so I don't know if it would melt or not, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a spoon for now. So hopefully you guys can see this, but I'm going to start over here. Just going to go ahead and poke a hole. Poke a hole. Okay, I lied. I'm going to do 4 down. And I'm going to go across. 5. About 6 across. These are just holes for your coconut cream to go into. And it is radiating quite a bit of heat, so I'm going to let it cool for a while. And I'm going to go ahead and put my coconut in the oven. It's very hot in here. And with the light on, we're going to want to watch it very closely. You may want to have a flipper handy because you may need to flip the coconut as it browns so it goes evenly throughout. I just took out my coconut and I need to flip it because it is turning brown. So I'm just setting it up here so I don't have to hold it the whole time. But you just want to top it and move it around a little bit so it mixes up. And we just want to put it back in for a few more minutes. You can see that. And there's little pieces that are browned in there. We want all of them to have a little bit of a crispy texture, but not burnt. So just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer in there. You can actually probably turn the oven off now so it doesn't burn, because it's probably about as hot as you need it, and we only need it on for a very short time. I'm going to get out one of these racks so I can set it down over here. Actually, I think I'm going to set the cake over here instead on this, so it cools easier while the oven cools down. This coconut browns very easily. Doesn't really take very long at all. It's like browning right before our eyes, really. You get as much brown on it as you want. think I'm gonna leave it about there. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's better lighting. And we're just gonna let that cool off. Going to pour this into the holes of the cake very slowly. I'm gonna try to get them in the hole. If it spills out, that's okay. You could spoon it in, I suppose. Oops. It's kind of like a glaze, but it will soak in. And then if you have any remainder, you can just pour it on. So it's still too warm to frost the cake, so we're going to let that cool for a while. Probably maybe a half an hour or so. You could also refrigerate this cake overnight if you want. After it's cooled down, of course. Frost it the next day. Either or is fine, but I'll probably frost it tonight sometime. It's about 9:30 at night now. Tim will get home about 3:30 in the morning, and he may want to have a slice of it then. So I want to have it ready for him. So I'm just going to let this cool for a while, and I'll come back. Hi, I'm back. So now our cake is cooled, and we will be putting on our frosting that we mixed cream of coconut with. And after that is when you would place your almonds, if you would like your almonds on this cake. If you don't want your almonds, I guess it would be more considered a Mounds cake. So this could be either or. And I don't have any almonds. We don't really like nuts in our dessert, so I'm gonna be calling this a Mounds cake, I guess. So I'm just gonna go ahead and frost this. So here we have a frosted cake. And this is when you would add your almonds, place them however you like, but I'm not. So then I'm going to take our coconut and I'm going to just sprinkle this on top of the cake. Try and get this closer so I don't spill. And so just take it by a handful and sprinkle it on. Doesn't have to be perfect, just coat the top. And there you have a toasted coconut Mounds cake. It's very yummy. What the inside looks like, it's very yummy and gooey. And this is what a cut piece looks like. Very moist. Be sure to please the crowd. We never have any leftovers of this. Always goes very fast. One time before I had also drizzled caramel topping, like an ice cream caramel topping across it, and it made it even more sweeter. You could do any other things on this that you want, but this is just a basic Mounds or Almond Joy cake that's simple, easy, fairly cheap, and it's very tasty. So I hope you like this demonstration. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope if you try this cake that you like it, and I hope you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more. As always, I am Crystal, the Minimalist Cat Mom. So thank you for watching tonight, and I hope you have a really great weekend. Bye!